Hi, hello guys. Let's go ahead and make some high protein beef burritos. It's very limited ingredients. It doesn't have like a lot of filling. It doesn't have beans or anything in it. I'm just gonna add some rice. I have some leftover rice from some takeout from Cali Chicken Cafe that I'm gonna throw in there and then add some of this. So once again, we're not really going off a recipe. I've seen a lot of high protein like beef burritos online. I'm gonna kind of do my own vibe. I'm gonna add in some cottage cheese. I think I'm gonna blend it up so it's smooth. So it's kind of getting queso rather than chunky. And then we're gonna use the Greek yogurt for our dipping sauce. Although I don't know if it's gonna be saucy from this. I'm gonna really want a dipping sauce in general. But I didn't get started. I'm gonna throw on my apron for throw on my apron so I don't get anything on this new interactive set. I also just posted a video and doing a try on haul and everything talking about this set specifically. So let's get into the recipe. Okay, struggling for my life to put this apron on. It's literally giving homesteading trad wife for sure. But okay. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna maybe cut up this onion a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and start browning the beef. I just got like a regular schmegular lean ground beef. It's 93, sorry, it was in a bowl because it was in the freezer. I got the 90-30, oh my God. 3% lean, 7% fat ground beef. So that's what we're gonna be using today. Since we wanna use the most lean beef you can find. Let's go ahead and throw it in a pan and get to cooking in here and let it start cooking. I'm gonna need to put these cats away for sure after I go ahead and get this in here because already fiending. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Also, oh my God, he's literally already up there. I will go get rid of him. Let's say I have a moment for the new setup for the espresso machine. Here, I just got this, heat lamp over here and the candles espresso martini Avi, and then this plant to make it even more aesthetic. So we're excited about her. I'm loving the vibe. Literally touching raw meat is literally the demise of my life. Literally hate it more than anything in life to say. Okay, let me get him out of here. Cutting up our onion. That's really the only thing I have to cut up. I have some tomatoes here. So again, I don't know if I'm gonna make a sauce. And then these are the tortillas I got. This is, where was that? Whole Foods. I looked to see if they had protein tortillas, but I could not find them. So there's 3 grams of protein in these, which isn't like terrible. The macros are pretty good on these. But while I'm cutting, I want to talk about kind of my fitness journey. Where did I put the board at? Hold on. Where did I put my cutting board? Oh, it's in there. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna talk about my fitness journey and kind of where I am now and what my goals are now. Currently, I'm in like a growth phase. I'm trying to build muscle. I just finished my phase 1 of my first like, and I quote, bodybuilding program. So I was doing more exercises that, you know, have specific, so I have a leg day, a push day, and a pull day, like more like bodybuilding-esque, you know, movements, exercises, and sticking to those big movements. And I finished my first program that I created for myself, kind of based off of like regular bodybuilding programs, and now I'm on phase 2 of it. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break though, like this week. I'm like still doing it, but not like in the way I'm supposed to. I feel like I kind of need a mental break from pushing myself. I feel like I'm a personal trainer now, and I can kind of see this in my clients, and I feel like a lot of people, you know, I don't know if it's talked about a lot, like the mental drainage of, you know, constantly pushing yourself to failure, and you're not supposed to do that anyways. I feel like every like few weeks you should do that, but when you're like working on building muscle, you're a lot of times, you know, you're working on progressive overload, so each week you're trying to go harder, so it's going to continuously keep getting harder. So that can be a little mentally draining for a lot of people. And I feel like this week I kind of needed a little bit of a break. I was just traveling a lot. I've been out of my own space. I'm so happy to be back home in California. So yeah, but how did I get into the fitness world? So I feel like I've always kind of been an active person. When I was growing up, my mom was kind of getting in her fitness girly era. She definitely was trying to eat healthy. Like I remember specifically when she was like she decided to, embark on her own fitness journey. She lived a hot girl walk. She was hot girl walking before it was even a thing. And I used to go for walks with her. This started probably when I was in like elementary school, like 7th, 8th grade. You're kind of unaware of your body. And I never played any sports as a kid or anything like that. And then of course like high school came, and I remember I became a little bit more aware of my body. So then I started, working out, like nothing crazy. We had like a Wii. This is controversial, but we were definitely a Biggest Loser family. And we used to watch that, and like Jillian Michaels had I don't know what she's doing now, Jillian Michaels, but she used to have a game for the Wii, and it was like a workout game. Why we had it, I think my mom used it. But I used to go on there and would do like the workouts. It was like, I looked, would run around the house because that's like what it was. It was weird. So anyways, I was a freshman, so I was 14 years old. So I like didn't really know that much about exercise. I just knew that I felt like I needed to lose, like in my mind I remember thinking like, so I'm 5'1". I remember thinking to myself, I think I was like 110 pounds, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, I want to lose like 5 to 10 pounds, like I want to be skinny. So I started working out and eating healthier, but like nothing like crazy. But yeah, I was kind of focusing on that. And then I remember I lost weight. I felt like good, but a lot of girls, I feel like during this time, like struggle with this, and something that I like, it's kind of awkward and weird to talk about, but like, I developed an eating disorder. I feel like social media really amplified my, vision of myself. I'm short. I have like more muscular legs naturally. I've never been like super skinny leg girl. Like I've always had like muscular calves. Like I said, I didn't play any sports, but I was like a super active kid. I would run around. I played like soccer with the other kids and like whatever else, at school. So I feel like my legs were always kind of more just naturally more muscular. And I remember like in 2013, 2014, like the thigh gap trend coming about, and I feel like that was something that I hyper fixated on severely. And I don't have a thigh gap now, and I will never have a thigh gap, but I eventually like developed an eating disorder in like high school, and I feel like it took me a good like, I would say like 5 years to fully like rid myself of that kind of mindset. I got myself all the way down to like 90 pounds. I would get up at crazy hours in the morning to like do wall sits, squats, anything. And it became really bad eventually to the point where my family noticed, and, they took me to the doctors and did everything they could to try to help me. And I think I like got better. I feel like eventually, like in high school, I started eating more. I wasn't, 90 pounds anymore. 90 pounds looked crazy. I mean, I don't even have any pictures anymore, but it literally looked insane. But I feel like the voice in the back of my mind lingered for a really long time about what I should be eating and being really insecure about the way I looked. And I, once again, will blame that like on social media for the way that I perceive myself. But anyways, jumping forward, I feel like that really like propelled me into, learning more about mental and physical health. And I really developed a love for, learning about how to exercise your body in a healthy way. And I started following fitness influencers that had similar body types to me, and stopped looking at people that I'm never going to look like. I think that's the biggest thing with girls and like following fitness influencers, I feel like it's really important to follow and find somebody who looks like you, meaning like they have a similar body type, because you're not gonna, if you're 5'2" and you're naturally thicker, you're not gonna look like a 6 foot model that has like really skinny legs, or like an influencer who's super tall who naturally is very lean and has skinnier features. So that was the first thing I did. And like I said, I feel like I, worked on it a lot through high school, but even in college, I remember like not eating a lot, trying to like run more, doing more cardio. And then eventually I phased out of that and started lifting. I think my freshman year of college is when I started like lifting in a gym. And it just became a love for me. My original, I'm gonna try to make this quick, and then I'm gonna go over there and check the meet. But I really fell in love with lifting. The gym, my freshman year of college, I went to West Virginia University, and their gym is literally immaculate. It had 3 floors. Like the basement was like where the lifting bros were. The main floor had like weights. I don't know, I can't remember if they had squat racks, but it was like free weights, a bunch of like cardio, cables, and then the 3rd floor was like an indoor track. And I remember just being like, F it, I'm gonna be in the basement where all the gym bros are. And like I said, I followed a bunch of, fitness influencers that kind of had the aesthetic that I wanted to look. And I feel like personally, I did get into lifting more because I was like, maybe I'll love myself more if I am toned, like if not toned, but more muscular. I feel like that will look better for my body type. I mean, anybody's gonna look great anyway. But anyways, long story short, so I was at West Virginia sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was at West Virginia for interior design, which I still love. I feel like I'm a very creative person. I love creating spaces that are beautiful and fun to be in. But I decided I wanted to go change my major to kinesiology. I've always, like I said, I feel like I always kind of had like an intrigue for, learning about the human body. So changed my major. I went home and did community college for a little bit. And to make a long story short, I ended up going to the University of Maryland, got my degree in kinesiology, and now I'm a personal trainer. And I absolutely love being a personal trainer. Next week, I'm actually starting my first class working towards getting my master's in nutrition. So I'm super excited to move forward in that. And yeah, I'm gonna head over here, bring you guys over here so we can look at the meat and I can finish talking about okay, let's throw some garlic in here. Move my steps tool out of the way, and then the onions. I know you're supposed to kind of do those first, but whatever. Okay, so yeah, so I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for a little over a year now, and I feel like I had some ups and downs with, how I felt about it, but I feel like my issue wasn't the fact that I didn't like doing it. It was more so the fact that I was running myself ragged and being all over the place all of the time. I just was like going back and forth from my apartment to the gym like at all hours, and it was just draining. So, and I think with a job like personal training, and I think a lot of people probably don't think about this, is how much energy you're giving to other people, because you have to be, if you're a good personal trainer, you're being present, with that person and helping them through, the workout you're giving them, but also being there emotionally for them, because people go through things. And I feel like, the gym is therapy in more ways than one. So I changed my schedule and, made it something that, I could enjoy again. So yeah. So, and I also feel like in between, before I moved to California, I was a substitute, and I thought about being a teacher for a while. I've wanted to be 500 million different things, if you can't tell. But I feel like I have found a passion and love for helping people become the best versions of themselves. So like just with substituting, I was helping kids, and I stayed in the same classroom for about, it was a very small school. I'm from a small town in like Maryland. So I really got to know a lot of the kids, but I was probably there for like 2 or 3 months. And I feel like I really enjoyed helping like the children, learn and become like the best versions of themselves. And I think a lot of people can say that they really you know, find like the love, and it's very like gratifying, gratitually. It gives you a lot of gratitude to know that, you know, you were able to help somebody become the best version of themselves. So I feel like I was able to bring that same energy in to, you know, I'm gonna only do that because it's gonna be like all onion if I do that. So really helped me to realize that, you know, that is a big thing. And like I said, like doing that with personal training, oh my God, what am I saying? You get the same thing out of personal training because you're helping somebody become the best version of themselves. And, you know, it really gives you a lot of joy being there for people. And, you know, I've had a lot of clients that are really serious about, you know, their goals, and it just is so, like, it's so amazing to be able to help people become the best versions of themselves. So if that's something that you know, are thinking about doing, and you feel like you are called to kind of help people and you're super into fitness, highly recommend. But, you know, set boundaries. You know, don't try to be in the gym 500 hours a day. And make sure you have time for yourself. Let's go ahead and season this up now. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend up the cottage cheese and add the cottage cheese to it. And then we're going to measure everything out. I'll probably measure everything out and then add the cottage cheese to it to make sure I'm getting the right amount of macros. We'll see. Once again, we're winging it. I'm not a chef either. This is the first time I'm actually trying to make meals for the week. When I tell you it's not cute, it's not fun, it's not fresh, what I normally eat. Like when I tell you I will eat a meat, a carb, and a vegetable, and that's it. Like, I don't care what it looks like, what it tastes like. I know what I need, and that's it. And it's not normally cute, but we're trying this week, you know, to make it a little bit more fun. So let's see what kind of seasonings you want to put in here. I don't have any taco seasoning, which is unfortunate. Okay, let's do a little paprika, a little Creole seasoning. I know it's not like giving taco or burrito, but whatever. Some pep. And maybe this chicken seasoning, girl, I don't know. Let's just do it. Okay. Boom. Honestly, sometimes even when you get lean beef, the fat, there's still a good amount of fat in there, but it's not too terrible today, which is great. Let's do, we definitely want her to have a little spice. She's almost empty. We're gonna put it on the big opening here. Boom. And then pepper. That one always gets me. I started using the seasoning in college, and every time I would cook with it, it would literally blast into my nose. Okay. And then let's put a little of this in here. Boom. Okay. Let's let this simmer and let all the flavors and everything kind of melt together while I blend up some of this cottage cheese. Let me add in the tomatoes as well. I want those to cook in. I want it to be a little tomatoey. Let's get this spoon. Throw those in there. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna let those kind of, like, once again, melt together. Let me see if I have it. It's giving nice and smooth. I'm gonna start off with just by adding like 2 scoops to it and then giving it a stir. It smells good though. All right, actually, Actually pretty good. I'm gonna add a little bit more. About a half a cup. So total here in meat wise, we have probably about 46 grams of protein. I don't know if my math is accurate. Please don't come for me. I looked it up. It said 4 ounces to half a cup though. Okay, so then our tortilla. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit all of that into one. So we'll see. Okay, here's our tortilla. It's looking like a phenomenal tortilla. Let me get my fork. Yeah, let me get my fork and put some in here. We might just do 2 tortillas. Okay, don't want it to be like busting out the seams. Okay, so yeah, got probably about a half a cup in there. So 26 grams, 23 grams of protein, but plus like the cottage cheese, I would say, you know, the cottage cheese is 14 grams for a half a cup. So I would say let's add 6 grams. Fold of this burrito here, boom. I literally have never, okay. Oh, I'm scared, hold on. I'm scared. Okay. Am I doing? I've literally never like folded a tortilla before. It's not really giving burrito, but okay. Boom. So I've seen it before. Do we go in for no? Boom. Please bear with me. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, this isn't terrible. I've never folded a burrito before, so please. Okay, she's cute. I'm probably gonna have 2 of these. I'm not gonna lie. Might as well just get another one ready. Let me probably add a little bit more. Once again, I'm also not tracking my stuff like severely right now. So I just am trying to make sure I eat my protein, you know. Y'all, I don't know, but anyways. Okay, boom. Let's get the pan ready to start getting these guys looking crispy. Okay, the big boy is looking like he might be falling apart a little bit, but I'm going to come back on this side, make sure it gets nice and crispy. But I think I'm about ready to take them off, give them a little cut, and then we'll do a little try. And I'm going to just cut this one. Okay. Boom. So this is what it's giving. I know it's like not the cute rating. I'll put the other one over here. I would say I wish I had. I think I could have added the fake cheese too. I feel like it would have given it more of a texture, but the flavor's great. If I were to do it again, I'll make sure I have taco seasoning, but honestly, the cottage cheese like blended up, it's great. You don't even know it's in there. It gives it a little bit more creaminess, but the flavor's great. You don't need any sauce. It's juicy and it's great. So cheers. I hope you guys really enjoyed the topics that I talked about and you were able to resonate with some of them, and I'll see you next time.